Joan had been driving a couple of days back through the back roads of Kansas, and every now and then she could see a little tombstone or two stuck out in the middle of some farmer's field far out in the distance. She saw old houses rotting, falling apart. The sun was starting to set a little bit, so this corn was kind of strove as she drove past it. It sort of hypnotized her. From driving a long way, she stunk bad, had to crack the window a little bit to gear herself out a bit. She'd been driving, turned a number of corners, and driving miles and miles in the middle of nowhere in back roads. And finally, things started looking a little familiar to her after 20 years, coming home after 20 years. And finally she made the right turn on the right road and was heading down, saw a little scabby line of trees. She could see off in the distance the house. It's been so long. Jesus saved signs off the side of the road, no hunting, stuff like that. She'd recognized it. She pulled up to the old barbed wire fence with her old green station wagon, uncurled it and rolled it up over to the side, threw it off the way, and drove up by the scattered line of trees up towards the old house, up around the bend. Not much of a hill, a little bit of an incline. And she saw this old dirt road that she's driving on. She worked her way up, bumping towards the house. Finally, she arrived in front of the house. She stopped the old car. She sees it. The old house's paint's chipping and falling off. Shingles have been blowing off the wind for the last 10, 20 years or so. She's glad to see it in a way, because at least she had some place to rest now. And she pulled out a lot of her junk there, her bedrolls. She pulled out a lot of her stuff like the old sign that said for sale by owner, things like this, and a couple cleaning things, piled them up, made a little fortress in front of her, and held a crowbar and stared at the house. Set the crowbar down for a second, but she decided to walk up to it. Went up to the front door there where they have that little safe box contraption, you know, that some realtor put there about 10 or 20 years ago. Twirls the lock, looks at the combination out of the pocket, pops it open, pulls out a little skeleton key in through the front door. Bangs on the inside, the plaster falls. She's inside. Bone-like wood floors here all covered with dust. Smell a little mildew in there. Not too bad though. With all the windows busted out, I guess the air had kind of come through and cleaned it well enough out. It didn't stink too bad. Leaves are skittering, chasing each other on the floor like little skeletons. She goes into the living room area. Oh, and there's just one little ottoman over here, and that's about it, covered with old tarps and things. Back here in this corner, she can see a little chandelier, and the chain all rolled up in a ball. No, and she keeps walking in there, and she hears the echo of the floorboards pop and squeak as she goes deeper into the house. She walks a little ways inside there, and off here to her left, up this way, leading up into the master bedroom, and about 3 bedrooms up there, is a stairway. She walks a little bit further in. There's older spots there on the wall where paintings used to hang, kind of some places where the wallpaper wasn't quite as faded. She walks through the living room, and she goes down this long tunnel, kind of like hallway that leads back towards the back of the house. And as she progresses, as she sees it's beautiful. The glowing blue kitchen, she missed it. And it just glows. It's just a beautiful white blue color. When the sun's starting to set, so it's got a nice little shine about it as she walks back into the kitchen. And she sort of, I don't know if it consciously, whatever, she ignores the basement door there and looks over and sees the old little white refrigerator there that she used to remember from so long ago, the kind you touch it and it leaves that chalky white stuff on your hand, you know. And she goes to the back door, slides the little slide bolt, pushes through, just enough room for her to squeeze through and slide her breast through. She gets out there on the back porch. She sees the old stubbly fields way off to the side here. She can see the old windmill. She can see the water basin there and the carburated tin bang just kind of rhythmically over there. And the old windmill just rocks back and forth a little bit. Little slight wind. Crickets are starting to chirp a little as she moves towards night. And she walks across the stubbly fields and feels the old corn stalks just about a couple inches high poking up on the bottom of her feet. She works her way back towards the woods. She steps into the woods and the trees are all twiggy and they kind of scrape her legs. There's hardly any trees out there in Kansas, you see. There's a few that are a little larger than others, but most of all, it's just a bramble scraping on her legs there. And she walks into the woods. It's kind of a musty smell, steam rising a little bit there in the autumn, no leaves to speak of. Can't hear any birds, nothing much there that she hears. She keeps her walking back through the ground. It gets real mushy in places. Makes her nervous. She almost feels like she might sink into it or something. And over on some sides down where the ravines are and the water's corroded away, a lot of stuff, you can see old auto bodies there, rusted, holding up the embankment so that the, keep the erosion down, I guess. She works her way deeper through the woods, and she sees a little bit of water dripping on her. Occasionally fills that, and she works her way up. She sees this kind of steep embankment white thing, and kind of has to almost climb up it. Closest thing to a mountain in Kansas she'd ever encountered as a girl. And she works her way up the little hill, and she has to grab onto a little tree or two to haul herself up there. And she sees the fence. It's still there. After all these years, it's still there. She works her way up there and grabs hold of the rusty fence. She sees a little sign here. It's kind of a yellow rusted sign that says, "Keep out." It's hanging by one rivet there, and it just kind of, when the wind blows, the fence shivers like, it's garnished with a little bit of barbed wire at the top. It's hanging and sagging in places. And back behind this fence, there's a courtyard there where the grass has been walked to mush. Still being used, I guess. And behind the little courtyard there's a building. Melder's Institute of Mental Health. And she sees old dark windows there and bars on them. And she sees up there in one of the dark windows, maybe a few shadows moving, and hears a little bit of a name battle. And she walks her way up there, and she really grabs a hold of that fence with both hands. When she does that, the crusty rust breaks in her hands, takes her into a flashback 20 years earlier. Joan's a little girl now. Now the courtyard's full of people, these odd characters, some of which might be worth remembering. There's a few of them wandering around there in the courtyard. One of them's underneath a drain pipe and water's just draining on his head. And he lets it splatter there for a while. Another one there is over there kind of banging on the wall. You saw him, there's another one over here. He's got his face right by the window for some reason. And he's got his face right up to it. And he's searching his face for these pustules. And he pops one, and it's kind of a boil there, and he searches the pustule a little bit with his finger. I don't know what he's thinking. And there's another one over here. He's got this giant shock of red hair, and he's got this strange muzzle-like contraption all wrapped around his mouth here, leather and all these blade wires. They lock his teeth shut. He's got this grimace, but his eyes look kind of peaceful as he looks around the courtyard. He's standing over by Darling, Mr. Darling. He's the guy, a kid with the red hair, by the way. His name's Braceboard. Mr. Darling's standing over by the handicap ramp, sucking on a cigarette. His goitered Adam's apple kind of goes up and down. He's got his greasy black polyester pants there, and he's got a little sawed-off kind of broom handle here hanging from his belt. And he just sits over there, taps his foot, and sits by the handicap ramp. You see a couple other characters there. One of them's rummaging around in the grass there, and he finds little bugs, and he steps on them and pops them. And then there's another guy over there. He's got this. He kind of plugs his nose and walks around. It sounds like the sound of gas. I don't know, just passing gas or something. I don't know, disgusting like this. And he walks around. He's got these burn scars all down his neck. That's Mr. Gasser. And she sees there's a number of other people here. There's one guy who's strapped in an upright gurney bed, and he has this kind of long, elongated kind of neck. And if he leans this way, the flesh kind of goes. If he leans this way, the flesh kind of goes. And he's held up with this sort of metal halo-like device that's locked into his shoulders here in this gurney bed. And he just sits there and they kind of roll him around. Another guy walks around. He's got this little pacemaker here on his chest. And he walks around and it beeps periodically to let everyone know he's still alive. And he walks with this little walker. He works his way across through the courtyard. There's another guy there. There's all sorts of people here in the courtyard, mulling about. Some in wheelchairs, some just walking and screaming at themselves. But one man stands out. He's in a little wheelchair. He sees little Joan, 20 years younger, at the fence there. He's bald, emaciated, kind of pasty looking, with a few fuzzy white hairs up here on the top of his head. He wheels himself towards the fence. No one seems to notice, so he keeps going. Closer and closer, and a little down there. And pretty soon he's up to the fence. No one's noticing. Don't they even care? Bryce boy notices. Kid with the red hair and the jaw contraption. He runs over to Darling, yanks on his arm. Darling pushes him. Darling's over by the fence now. Or the old man, Trickler, call him. He's over by the fence. Old man Trickler looks at this beautiful little girl, smells her. And he notices her staring curiosity. She's looking at something. Oh, it's up here on the left side of his head. It's this little square. It's probably about, 3 inches square. And it's indented into his head by about half an inch. Just kind of like dent in the middle of his head here. The little hairs are around. There's bubbly scars around it, pink scars. And he notices her staring at him. And he kind of leans in so she can get there and look at it. She thinks it's sweet and kind of giggles a little and works her hand through the fence and strokes that little soft mushy spot on the top of his head, and he loves it, and he closes his eyes. She presses inward. He closes his eyes and scoops up her little hand, looks her now in the face. And he slides her hand deep into his throat. And on the back of his neck comes down the baton. Darling finally made it there and stares at the little girl right here. And she freaks out. And then Joan wakes from her flashback, takes her hand off the fence. She wakes from her flashback, 20 years older again. Steps back down into the woods. Back down into the woods. Someone was watching her, though. From way up here in the windows, he was staring at her. And he looked down at her in the courtyard and watched her disappear into the woods. And we see the back of his head, and we see that he has a little indentation here, 20 years older, but it's still there. She's home. She's home. Right about then, back behind him, the giant metal door opens. Mr. Darling, 20 years older, was walking in through the giant metal door, tiptoeing in. Carries his little dinner tray back to the back corner where Mr. Trickler resides. No one really likes to go back there. The pea stain all through the smells. And Mr. Darling works his way back in the back corner there. Here's some wheezing over in the corner. One of the tracheotic patients is over there wheezing at him. He sets the tray down. Trickler grabs his arm. What's going on? What do you know? What do you want? Trickler just shakes catatonic. Here, write it on your scratcher pad. Trickler's got this little, like it's a Popeye scratcher pad, that kind of with the black tar goo on it and the cellophane that you can rip up, erase your message. He takes the little red pencil and he does his best. He writes doctor, little childish scrawl. Darling looks at it. Oh, you want to see the doctor, do you? Fine. He goes over to the intercom. Buzzes the intercom. Downstairs. Nurse Mabel answers it. Yes, what is it? Trickler wants to see somebody. All right. Nurse Mabel turns the intercom over to another side and buzzes it. He answers. Head doc answers. What is it? She fumbles with the little knob there on the intercom. Trickler's ready to see somebody. It's like a flash in my mind. The head doc holds this little CB-like device up to his neck here. He's got this little tracheotic hole right here that he has to speak through. He has this little black kind of gleaming like an amplifier here that he holds. And you can't see anything. He's in the shadows, you gotta understand. But he kind of belches out a few words like a fried burp and deep breathing. Well, let's send him down to Dr. Hazard in the morning. I've done all I can for Mr. Trickler. And that's that. Back at the house, Joan stands by her fortress of junk. She doesn't even want to go in that place. She doesn't want to stay here. She doesn't want to have anything to do with the old place. But she figures there's a little bit of money in it in the long run, so she may as well fix it up, get it ready to sell. She puts the for sale by owner sign down by the fence. She pulls her bedroll in through the front door up these stairs here on the left. She walks past one bedroom. She walks past another little bedroom. She goes into the bedroom here on the right. It's the master bedroom. She walks in. She lays down her bedroll, spreads it out. She has a crowbar. She goes over the window, bangs off the boards there, tries to get a little light in the place. The board comes off the window and skitters off the roof. Hits the double cellar doors at the back of the house. The double cellar doors. And she goes back out into the front of the house. And man, she works as fast and hard as she can because she sees the sunset. She goes and puts her whole body in and pries at the side of the house, pulling off the door. There's boards all over them. And the paint's all over like snow and dandruff or something. And she pulls off all the boards as best she can and lays them there next to the house. She runs around the whole house, tears off as many boards as she can and quick as she can. Sunset. That's all she can do for a night. She sits on her front porch, exhausted, crowbar in her lap, looks at her hands, scabbed, bloodied. She goes upstairs, washes her hands. Nothing. Just a little bit of rust sound and stuff comes gooming out of there. Water. So she goes back downstairs. She goes into the gaudy blue kitchen area and sees the white fridge, sees the basement door. Not quite open. Has to do another little walk. She looks down into the basement there, lights her lighter. She's looking down there and sees a gap underneath the stairs and worries about her Achilles tendon getting sliced by something, so she takes her foot back out of the basement there and looks down there. Hey, is anybody down there? Could you turn on the water for me if you're down there? Little water drips in the kitchen sink. Feels like she's messing in territory where she shouldn't. Just take care of it in the morning. Walks the slide. Next thing, she's out in the fields. Oh, the fields. Out where the windmill goes back and forth. She gets under there in the metal basin. She remembers in her youth swimming in that little metal basement there. She jumps in there. No, she just strips off her clothes. She's a woman now. She can't indulge herself quite as much. So she gets there in the water and splashes all over her naked body. Out in the plains, you can do things like that. No one sees you. So there she was, clean. Goes up into her bedroom again. It's the sun is set and it's dark. She has about 10 or 20 candles all around her room, like someone's laying in state there. And a little bedroll right in the middle of this bone floor there. It's just old, dry bone wood. She lays down there. And her bedroll blows out most of the candles that are around her. She's got one near her in the bed, by the side of the bed here, and just opens up the little matchbox and kind of practices reaching for it in case she needs it in the night. All right. She blows out the light. The candle's gone. It's dark in there. All her boxes over there look like a man sitting in the corner. It looks like the head's lifting. It's just her imagination. She lays there and hears the crickets. The wind's blowing through the house. The boards are creaking and moaning. She's laying there for a while and sees these little black silverfish kind of like bugs skittering around on the ground. She sure sees the little bathroom door there and the closet door. She looks up above her head. She sees a heat vent there and up by the top of her bed, up by her where her head's laying. The heat vent's only 5-7 feet away from her. It's black. Looks like a little mouth ready to swallow her or something. She hears something skittering in there. She sits up in bed, and a little beam of moonlight crosses her face. Deal with it. She lays back down, goes to sleep. That's where I come in. Dr. Hazard. I'm driving to work, back through the country roads. It's great. I can see sunrise, and I got the old 60s music playing. And I'm singing along. I'm a happy kind of guy, going to work, doing my duty, getting my paychecks. And I see the house up around the bend there. There's a car up there. There's a for sale by own sign. It's for sale by own. Sign's right up there on the barbed wire fence. So I drive up across the little perilous bridge there and jalopy across it and get up there to the asylum and put my key in the front door. And I walk inside. Nurse Mabel buzzes the buzzer. I walk in down the hall. Morning, Nurse Mabel. You're looking beautiful today. I was like flirt with her. I figure it might facilitate a few things later on. A little manipulative maybe, but oh well. She's an important part of the asylum. So she gives me a couple manila folders. Looks up at me with disdain. You'll be working with Mr. Trickler today, Mr. Bracer. Great. I go down the hall, buzz the elevator buzzer. It opens up. I'm looking at her in the little convex mirror. Something about her makes me a little bit antsy. Oh well. I ride the elevator down to my office. Back at the house. Joan wakes up, goes to work for a few minutes. She goes around and sweeps off the cobwebs all over the corners of the house. She goes out and sweeps out the leaves. She tears off any other boards that are left on the house, including all the boards around the outside of the basement windows. Because she's going to go down in there. She's got to get up her courage first. She tries to get used to the old house. And she wanders around for a while, pulling the tarp off the sofa and stuff. She piles all the boards out on the side of the house and starts a beautiful, huge bonfire. All the smoke's just going clear across the plains. She wonders if anyone will notice. She hopes all the crazies over at the asylum don't notice and wander over to pay her a visit or something. And so she fixes the house up pretty well, pulls out little jags of glass, cuts her finger once there. She puts a little black plastic over the windows that are broken out. She fixes up the place pretty nice overall. She's pleased. Then she goes around in the back of the house. May as well get as much light in there as possible. Opens up the double cellar doors. Sets them back on the mattress weeds over there on the sides. This concrete stairway leading down into the basement. There's this pull of black sludgy wire at the bottom, a warped door down there. She goes down, opens up the door, jumps across the water into the basement. Back to the office. Darling takes Trickler in the elevator. Brings him down to me. Pushes B, basement, that's where my office is. They roll down the hallway. Asbestos pipes all over the basement hallways, steaming pipes. I hear a little knock on my door. It's pretty much a little broom closet. Come on in. Open up the door and Darling wheels in Mr. Trickler. Pasty bald, white emaciated. A little square here in the side of his head. I'm kind of curious about that. And it rolls in. So, well, what might be your name? I'm always real friendly to patients when they first come in. Mr. Darling, of course, preempts everything else. He don't talk very much. He uses a scratch board there. Thanks a lot, Darling. Please close the door as you exit. See, that's a hypnotic technique. You kind of suggest that they do something, and they automatically implies that get out of here. And so he leaves, and I hear him walk down the hall and shuts the door. So I'm looking at this creature across the office from me. I open up a few last little letters with my shiny letter opener. Try to get acclimated to this man here in my office. So, what did you want to talk about today, Mr. Trickler? All he does just shake catatonically. Well, I see here in your manila file, there's not much in here, but at least it says that someone heard you talking in your sleep once. Hey, people are keeping an eye on you, huh? So, let's hear that beautiful voice of yours. Come on, let it sing out a little bit. Nothing. Look at this little basement window here, Mr. Trickler. See how the grass waves back and forth? See how the curtain kind of billows a little bit because there's a crack in the little window there? See that? Just look at that for a while. Be at peace and relax. Listen to my voice. You don't even really need to listen to my voice because your subconscious will do that for you. I want you to imagine in your mind basement doors opening. Yeah, crusty basement doors. Now I'm going to count down from 10. Every time I count, you're see another door open. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Be at peace. Be at peace, Mr. Trickler. Behind this last door, you'll notice we're in a concrete room. Now don't be afraid. See, I'm right here with you, Mr. Trickler. That's the beauty of hypnosis and dream therapy. We can get in it, we can mold it, we can change it however we like. Now I'm there with you. Now you'll see in this concrete room, as you walk into it, I'm staring at you, but don't let that make you nervous or anything. I'm just here to watch you. Now notice that back in the office though, you know, my eyes are closed, so I'm not gonna be able to see any signals, yes or no, that you make. I need to hear a voice out of you, Mr. Trickler. My eyes are closed back there. Here, my eyes are open though. You understand? This is the way hypnosis works. We're in it together. Okay? Now you'll see in this concrete room, there's this little foggy string that looks kind of like a spider web, Dusty. And on the bottom of it, there's this little flesh-colored box. It's got veins and it's kind of pumping in and out like a lung. It's small though. Can you see that? Now get up underneath it. Good. Open your mouth. Good. Yeah, swallow it in your gullet. He swallows it. That's a voice box. That allows you to speak. See, the power of hypnosis is amazing. Relax. Relax now. Let your tongue be free. Go ahead and speak. Have you had any dreams lately that you'd like to tell me about? Any visions or anything that you'd like to share with me? Yes. Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful voice. Good. What? Can you tell me? Why did you come down here? I saw her. Lovely in the evening. Who? Your mother? Don't jump to conclusions! All right. A little bit of violent snapping there. I go to take a little note. There'll be no records of this conversation! How could he tell? His eyes have got closed back in the office. Unplug the intercom. What? Unplug the intercom or we go no further. Sometimes you have to indulge the parental fantasies a little. Unplug the intercom there. Little cords hanging there. Gray thing. Interplugs unplugged. Intercom's unplugged. Go ahead. Let's go. Tell me what you want to know. Tell me where you want to go. I'm here with you. I saw her. Who is it? The woman. She moved in up the road a little bit through the woods. I was watching her. Yeah. That's good. Would you like to go visit her in this little fantasy of ours? Yes. All right. Well, let's go together. You lead me, all right? We're back in the office. The Trickler stands up, which is kind of amazing, the power of hypnosis, you know, he has all the freedom he wants. And he walks out of the door of the office. Seems so real. So I get up and I follow him down the hall. I see he's way down at the hall there in the elevator. He's called the elevator. His bony arm's there propping the door open. It keeps banging up against his arm. I step into the elevator with him. All right. We're making good progress here, Mr. Trickler. We're in this together, you and me. There's no reason to be afraid. I'm your doctor. You can tell me anything. But I also want to be able to tell you a few things every now and then. I hope you're open to that. We'll work on everything together, and together we'll become fast friends. put your face in the corner of the elevator. Do what he asked me to do. I guess put my face in the corner of the elevator. Be one with me. No, and all of a sudden I look back around and all the lights on the panel of the elevator are just flashing like crazy. We lurched downward. Now wait a second, there's no sub-basements here in the asylum. I don't know where I'm prying at the doors. Calm down a little bit, just relax. What's going on here? What's going on here? You're in safe hands. We're going on with what? We're going to go visit the woman. Okay. Yeah, now I trust you. And I want you to trust me fully, so as a token of trust, I'll go with you here on this little adventure downward. And the cogs are churning, steam pipes are hissing. Right down through the elevator. He opens up the door back behind us. The sirens wail. I'm seeing these chambers. I mean, there's like huge hallways going everywhere, leading everywhere. A big maze of tunnels and stuff. And I don't know what he's up to, but I'm going with him, you know. You gotta indulge their fantasies a little. So we're walking through these chambers, and there's this giant roots that are going through the walls, and they're hanging down. And there's steam everywhere. My glasses get kind of fogged up. So I work my way with them and kind of almost want to hold on to his little white pajamas so I don't get scared in the way. It's sort of like a father figure to me at this point because he's leading us into hypnosis. And that's okay for me. You know, and I go along with him. We're going farther and deeper into these catacomb-like places. And I'm rather terrified in some ways, but in other ways I'm confident. And I go a little bit farther. And then he opens up this giant kind of water lock thing. There's all these tiles in this hallway that bowed upwards and big pools of water. And he swings open this giant door, and we walk into this chamber, another huge, vast chamber. And he says, "Hey, down there, you don't notice the radiation size? Well, that's where the missile silo is. It's only about 20 feet below the corn stalks out there. We're below the woods right about now, but pretty soon over there you can see where the corn stalks are. And, you know, don't worry though, it's been disarmed. The head of the missile's been taken off, but there's still some danger of radiation. We go out a little bit farther and see this giant stinking carcass there. It's like a cow or something. It makes me sick to my stomach. Don't worry about that. The rats must have drug it down. Radiation changes things, you know. I get a little nervous, and I go a little bit farther and deeper with him in these catacombs and chambers, and we're walking, and then he opens up another one, waterlock kind of thing, and we step in this catwalk. I've never seen a place like this, and it's this huge, ungodly chamber, and I'm walking across this catwalk, and as far as I can see off to my left, there's like just rows and rows of shells, some kinds of like metal shells down there. And down here, there's this huge boiling cesspool kind of thing, and it's got these red lights glowing from it. I said, what is all this? What are all these shells here? That's when we used to store secrets so long ago. Now there's more reliable means of storage. I see. Wow, this is amazing. And we're walking through the catwalk, across the catwalk. See that hole up there? And I look up and see, yeah, he's giving me the grand tour. That giant hole up there, where there's a giant black hole. You see that? That leads up to that woman's basement. Yeah. They drop them in through there and they land down there in the water. What? Land down there in that soup, huh? Yeah, that's exactly what they do. And we're walking through there and it gets to the far side. And all of a sudden the lights kind of flicker off. And when the lights come back on, I'm careening over the edge. I'm about ready to fall into the lake down there. And I don't want to fall in the effigy lake, son. Okay. I won't fall in the effigy lake if I can help it. And then we keep walking and he opens up the lock. We're into the room. Another concrete kind of room. Except in the middle of this room, there's an examination bed. You know, kind of like at some old ancient doctor's office or something like that. And I'm exhausted at this point. Everything's so vivid when you get into this hypnosis. I mean, your imagination, it's pretty incredible. He sits me down on this kind of table-like thing. And there's drawers in it. And there's this kind of grimy paper there, like butcher paper, you know, so that your butt doesn't get germs on the table, you know. Doctors had that. He rolls about 6 feet of this paper, but it's as dirty as it was in the beginning, all yellow stained. There's this kind of weird clock contraption on the wall. It's like this big clock. It's on a like a giant spring there or something. And everything's just covered with this old putrid Vaseline jelly everywhere and stuff. I don't know what's going on. Just sit down and relax. Ooh, it's cold. It's like a big metal table practically. There's a little hole there at the head for some reason. It looks like there's a drain underneath that hole where the head is. Drain right there in the cement. Just sit down there and relax. It warms up with the body heat. All right. He goes over to a hook on the wall and pulls off this white doctor's lab coat and wraps it around himself. Now, I need to secure you before we go any farther. Trickler, look, this is getting a little silly. You know, I can indulge your fantasies to a point. And, you know, I hope by now I've earned your trust a little bit. But this is getting a little bit beyond me. I don't want you messing with my head. I'm going to put a few ground rules down right now. All right? Just sit down here and relax. I have a few stories I want to tell you. He goes over to this clock on the wall. I'm kind of laying back on the table. I figure I better get a little rest. I'm feeling pretty tired, and I peek out of my eye a little bit. And he pulls off the minute hand and the hour hand off this clock face for some reason. And he walks over to my little table, sets them down there on the butcher paper, kind of there beside me, and he opens up the drawer underneath. And he pulls out a little vial. I'm not really watching all of it. I'm just getting a little bit tired of this. Every now and then you got to rest in the middle of therapy, and it's time as any, I figure. I said, so what's the deal with that clock over there? Oh, that's something they had invented back in the 40s. And, you know, in case of a nuclear attack, people need an anchor to hold on to, something to keep them stable, something to keep them mentally healthy. And time is just such an anchor. It's perfect. So even down here, we need these clocks. We set them on springs in case of a direct nuclear attack. It can withstand it. It'll take it all. Very interesting. So he's down there. I close my eyes. I hear him kind of preparing something. You know, head doc. He laid in this chair many years ago. Mm-hmm. I worked on him too. All the Soviets would find him, they'd lobotomize him and leave him out in the back country roads to wander, screaming zombies through the fields and cornfields at night. You could hear him out there. If you can go out sometimes, you can hear him. Just like seeing the constellations, you'll hear him screaming, all right? And they wander for a while, and we usually pick him up and they bring him here. And see, I was the only one that knew the cure. I was the only one that could fix him up after they'd been lobotomized and some other way tortured or maimed. I was the only one, and I'd do it right here. It's great power down here. So they brought Head to me like that. He had a big hole in his head. He screamed so bad, they cut him a little tracheotomy. They couldn't stand the screaming there at VA hospitals all the time, so they cut him with tracheotomy. I had someone up there in the asylum build him a little voice box, you know, so that he could be heard and could communicate. But after he's fixed up, he didn't know anything. He didn't know any secrets, so they demoted him and put him in charge of the asylum over there. And he was in charge of throwing people through the hole for me to work on, you see? He'd drop them through there, and he'd splash an energy light. You see that little red light there on the wall? It'd go on. And when that red light shine, I know that the screener was done. And I'd pull them out. You know, and about then I could fix them or file them however I wanted, whatever I wanted to do with them. And he's rummaging around in a drawer down there on the side of the chair, and I look down. And I'm seeing all these beautiful, gleaming surgical instruments. Some rusty, some just perfect. There's jumper cables in there, and there's black duct tape, and there's all sorts of Ziploc bags and things like that down there. I get off the bench. I'm over in the corner, and I'm banging around by the silver fence. What's going on here? Just relax. Dr. Hazard, you just relax. Son, look, if I wanted you, I would have had you. And he reaches into the drawer. This giant metal clamped right where my legs and arms would have been. Puts it back. Now get on the bench. I have more story to tell you. Strip down, better yet. Because I need to examine you. No, Trickler, I've had enough. Look, it's all just a fantasy, isn't it? Take off your clothes. I want to examine you. Fine, I take off my clothes. I sprawl out on his little metal examination table there and relax. Just look up there in that lamp.
Stare at that lamp for a little while. You'll find that it'll soothe you. It's warm kind of light. Stare at me. That's good. I'm going to tell you a little story here. And he starts kind of examining my body. And it feels kind of good. He massaging a little bit, prodding. And I feel him back here by my shoulder blade. He's working me over a little bit, examining me. And he even reaches down into the drawer and pulls out this giant magnifying kind of glass thing, hooks it there into his glasses and can cock it down. Look over there. He's got these little glasses they carry that look like they have a plastic shield on so that no things will bust his eyes. Or I don't know what's going on with him. But anyway, I just relax for a while. I'm going to tell you a little story, and I want you to see it. I want you to feel it, taste it, touch it. It's a little story about Mr. Gasser, one of the patients up there in the asylum. You see, he was a very sweet-natured soul, Mr. Gasser. He's the one that had the little burn scars on him. You've seen him, haven't you? Yeah, I see. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And I'm seeing it so clearly. I'm seeing his face pressed up against my office window back there at the asylum. Mr. Gasser. He clucks his nose, farts, and I laugh a little. Now show some respect! All right. Mr. Gasser, this is Dr. Hazard. He's going to help us. Dr. Hazard is going to help you. Mr. Gasser smiles and then moves away from the window. Mr. Gasser invented a corn-based chemical compound which was able to somehow kill his chickens painlessly. He didn't have the heart to do it himself and slaughter them all by himself. So he went out there in his chicken coop, turned a few knobs. Oh, you should see it. His chickens all kicking and bucking up against the fence, chicken wire there. Oh, it was kind of sweet. He takes the chickens and he slaughters them, feeds them to his family. Big mistake. You see, what it did is it kind of turned them all against each other, and they wanted to eat the mom. They did. They ate the mother. They came after Gasser, and he was hiding in the barn. He's standing outside the barn for a while, screaming in the house. You see somebody runs in the barn, he hides. And all of a sudden, he sees the children like fleeing showers running and hanging from the rafters. Some of them got sickles, some of them got these pitchforks and things, and they're chasing it down. And one of them jumps on it, and he throws a hollow-eyed freak off. He stomps on his head. He killed all his children except one of them. One of them, and he's strung up in a barn, kind of like he was sort of spread out, spread eagle. He strapped his little boy up there, and his boy's bucking and frothing at the mouth. Rabies, maybe? This country doctor never seen anything like it. Never seen anything like that before. Oh, Mr. Trickler. Yeah. About that time, government always hears about these things. Oh, they always know something's going on, let me tell you. So he was hiding in his coop. He saw the men in black cars come. 7, 8 of them come. And they walked up real confident-like to the barn. They weren't going to get his secret. Who knew what they'd do with it? Who knew what they'd do with it? He lights a match on the blade of the sickle. His son's bucking in the background there. And he lights the whole place, turns on the gas. The whole place goes up in flames. You've never seen a beautiful sight all your life. When the men in black go into a barn and fire, it was on fire. The men in black go in there and they come out flaming. It's a godly sight. It's a godly sight. And their clothes is melting off of them and their hair is flaming, but they're smiling because they're serving their country. And they've got a hold of Gasser's arms, and his arms are kind of warped a little bit under their firm grip, and Gasser's got scars all over him. And his little black hair is hanging off in the whisk. Kept that for some reason. It's a miracle. And they took him and they locked the cubic metal cages on his hands. And they locked one over his head. I don't want to see him, you see. They got to be anonymous when they drop him through the hole. I don't want to know who they are. I don't want to know a thing about them. They dropped him through the hole, and they had a little bit of a kind of a hole up here inside of his head so I could work on it without seeing him. And they dropped him through the hole, and he bangs off the catwalk, falls in the empty lake, usually breaks a bone or two. And after a while, I fished him out and worked on him. That's how it went for many years. Right about then, Trickler panics. You know the story, he panics. He's looking with this little big magnifying thing. He reaches down a drawer and pulls out a couple Ziploc bags and puts them over his hand. What is it? So see it. He takes these little foggy Ziploc bags and presses in hard on either side of the zip. Searches the pustule a little bit. You're safe. You see, the opaque head of a blemish can be turned into a zip camera. can broadcast an image far and wide. I've got to check you, make sure nobody's spying on us, make sure Head isn't watching. I need to do one more thing, Dr. Hazard. I need to do one more thing before we go any further. This is a big thing I'm asking of you, baby. You're my doctor, and I feel that you have some degree of love for me already after our short encounters together. You see this little hand here? I'll sit up on the bench a little bit, kind of groggy from all these images I've been seeing that he's been putting in my mind. I cover up my naked self with fig leaf here, kind of embarrassed a little bit. It's been prodding all over my body. This is the minute hand. What I do is I slide this underneath your pinky nail, and I put a small transistor in there. None of this high-tech stuff, these little new techno kind of computer things. This is an old kind of transistor. I put it underneath your pinky. All right? And then I take this red hand, our hand, and this is one I have some little bit of fun. I put this up into your left nostril, and it goes to the bony plates of the sinus, it breaks through, it pops in your brain, and that's where I leave a little bit of a piece of white sulfur. And that white sulfur, you see, if anyone ever presses you really hard and wants to know these things I'm telling you now, wants to know these secrets, you have one recourse, and one recourse only. You're to take your pinky and you're to stick it in your mouth like this, up to the first knuckle at least, and you're to bite off your pinky. When you do, Dr. Hazard, a generous portion of your brain will be fried out. Smoke will come right out of your ears. I'm seeing it. It's a powerful sight to see. Now, this is very, very important because you've got to have this as some sort of recourse in case they pressure you. Because you better believe me, Head Doc is going to pressure you. He's going to want these secrets. And he knows things. You see, there's one point at which he threw my wife through the hole. I didn't know her. I didn't know her from Eve. She had the cubic metal cage locked on her head. How am I supposed to know her? I went to work on her, and when I went upstairs, I heard the very same scream that I heard down in the sub-basements. I heard it, and that was my sweet, sweet wife. I don't want her doing that kind of thing to you or any other buddy that I'm associated with. So, will you indulge me, Dr. Hazard? Will you submit to the loboto bomb? Jeez, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to... Yeah, whatever, Trickler. If this is what we have to do for you to trust me, for us to move on with this, that's fine. This is just goofy. All right, very good, okay. And what I want you to do is concentrate a little bit. You'll see the pain just flowing right out of your toes. It's like a pussy issue, okay? Look at them now. The pain's flowing out. And I see my toenails curl up. This kind of green pus flows out on the floor and starts steaming there a little bit. Wow. It's a pretty vivid image. And then he pulls out the hand. He puts my fingers, kind of puts my hand a certain way and presses my pinky finger right down on the table. And he says, press down a little harder. All right. I press down a little harder, and he slides the minute hand right into my pinky. Yeah, it doesn't hurt a bit. A little green stuff on the floor sizzling a little bit, though. Well, I'm a little bit freaked out. I kind of had to act clinical at times like that. So, what makes where's the wire that, connects the pinky thing to the loboto bomb up in my temporal lobe there? You don't need any wire, son. But your nerves is wire enough. That's wire enough. When that intense pain fires along those nerves, oh, you better bet that loboto bomb will fire. It will fire, son. So he gets the other needle, the other hand. Okay. He sticks it up in my nose, and I feel it going into the membranes. I have to kind of strain my neck muscles a little bit. He pushes pretty hard. He puts a lot of weight in it. I'm surprised. Boy, you got a solid bone back there. He breaks into my brain. And I feel it. It's peaceful kind of feeling. And so he keeps it in there for a little while and works and probes it around a bit. One of my eyes is crossed a little bit because of the pressure. Hope I can at least still pick my nose or something. says, hold this. And he pulls out this real nappy, matted hanky from out of his back pocket. Press it right up against your nostril there. He slides it out of my nose. And a whole torrent of this kind of pink fluid, I guess it's brain or spinal fluid or something, comes torrent out all over my shirt there. Great. Don't worry about that. I'll stop it. He slops off a little bit. Uses a piece of old butcher paper. All right. The pain. No pain at all. That's amazing. Yeah, you see, there's no pain cells in the brain, son. I didn't need to do anything for that. There's no pain cells at all. There's plenty of pain cells other places. There are plenty of other kinds of cells there in the brain, but no pain cell. Very interesting. All right, son. Puts his hands on his shoulder. You're ready. You're ready, son. You know the stakes. Let's go. He goes over to a corner of the room and he pulls off this kind of, he moves aside some of the civil defense counsels. And he pulls off this little kind of heat vent right there and he crawls into it. And I crawl behind him and he's scampering like a rat. It's amazing, man. He's so fast and fleet there in the way that he moves. And he goes deeper and deeper through the channel. I keep seeing him disappear around these glinting metal ducts there. Slow down! You're gonna lose me! Come on! Make me kind of nervous. And finally, we're peeking through a little hole. Joan, I guess, has just come down into the basement. She's going to be working on something down there in the basement, I guess. She surveys the basement. There's a bunch of old soggy mattresses there, and there's some kind of pieces of junk laying around there in the basement, and one monolithic deep freeze over here in the corner. Thing is huge and glowing white. And she walks past that. And she walks a little deeper to where the scrawl is on the wall. The water shut off. She crawls back inside there. Spiderwebs break all over her face. I'm seeing it. Spiderwebs break all over her face. It's like she's accustomed to it or likes or something. She blows them down her face like a couple wisps of hair. And gets to work again. She twirls the knob. And I hear the water flowing. Great, it's flowing. I guess she's got the water turned on. She walks a little deeper into the basement there. She clicks a little lighter on. She looks up at the gleaming heating ducts up there in the ceiling of the basement. She starts falling, and no house could contain this basement. That's huge. She goes deeper and deeper and falls in this tangled web of ducts. Goes deeper and deeper in the basement. We're watching her through the rafters, watching her every way we can. I'm asking Trickler, what are we gonna do? Just pay attention, son. Doctor's been working on me for 20, 30, 40 years now. I know a few things. You just pay attention and I'll teach you a few things. I'm gonna terrorize her. You see, somewhere in her repressed memories, she just might know something. She just might know something about how to find a cure. You see, head doc cut it out of me. That's why I've got this big old sore on the side of my head. I have to pick at it and scratch at it sometimes. That's what I've got. Because head doc, he cut it right on out of me. Or someone did. I don't know who did, but it's gone. He's in charge of it. So she might know something. If she does, I'm going to find it out. She falls on something. We look through the peephole. Her lighter's out, and I can barely see it, but she's fallen. There's a giant, barn door that's set into the floor of her basement. There's giant barn doors right there. It sinks kind of in about 6 inches into the dirt basement floor there. She says, what's this? Maybe a potato cellar or something. And Trickler's actually whispering through the wall at her. Maybe not. Confront it. Confront your fears. Bring it out of your repressed memories. Bring it on out. Hands are reaching for you. Hands are reaching for you. It's deep. You're going to fall through, honey. You're going to fall through, and it's deep. And you're going to fall deep down inside and have to and splash down inside there. And you're going to be trapped down there, and no one's going to know where you are. No one's going to come and get you, honey. And the barn door starts croaking and groaning a little. She's shaking. She's terrified to move. She sees a big keyhole right in front of her eye. She sees this kind of glowing red mist or something. Why doesn't she notice it? She paws around and finds her lighter. She sees where she is. Sees a little post off to the side. A board breaks off. She reaches for the board. Slides off the giant barn door as best she can. Good thing that chain is holding it shut a little bit. Huh.
Weird. She keeps walking deeper in the basement. She's following on the heating ducts. She goes back to the giant green furnace there. She needs a little heat in her house, I guess. He's all excited about that. The furnace! And he crawls as fast as he can through some heating ducts. I'm following out just a little bit. Then he gets way deep inside the heating duct, and I can see his head. It's like sort of disembodied, just poking up through one of the heating ducts. And he's staring right down like he's going to watch a movie or something. He's just watching it. He's just waiting. And pretty soon she pulls a screwdriver out of her back pocket. She's a newspaper bag in her back pocket, or lighter, stuff like that. And she pulls off the grate on the front of the giant green furnace, this huge olive green looking thing. And thumps there on the ground, almost blows out her lighter again. She's panicking a little. He likes that. I think he likes that. You know, at this point, I think it's good for him to indulge a little bit, so I whisper through the heating vent, Trickler, what? Get a little more violent. Come on, push this a little bit. Get to the meat of this thing a little bit, because this is dragging on. So, he looks down the heating vent and waits. Joan reaches in her lighter and turns on the gas. And she puts almost her whole body and her whole arm into this thing and reaches it inside there. And the gas is fluttering in her lighter. Come on! Come on! She's reaching in there. It won't light. It won't light. And that's about a good time for Trickler to start chanting his things. Honey, stick your head in here. Yeah, it's warm in here. Come on, stick your head in here. I can rape your brain, honey. Come on, put your head in here. Your mom and dad are monsters. They're watching you. They're staring at you. We all live in the walls around here. This house is inhabited. We know where you are at every moment. I can feel you. I have nerves all through this house, and every step you take, I can feel where you're walking, honey. Now come on. Go on inside. Stick your head in here a little bit farther. That's good. She's reaching in. She's terrifying. Her hand's shaking real bad. And finally, she just leans out of the furnace. She lights a whole damn piece of newspaper on fire and creates a huge torch. She leans it inside. And I look inside the glimmering heat duct, Sarah. Trickler's head's gone. Where did he go? She leans inside there with her piece of giant burning newspaper. I scamper backwards a little. She must have heard me. Trickler! She must have heard me because she looks up. And she sees this little cellar door-like thing, this kind of small wooden door. She stares at it. It thumps in and out. She's looking at this thing, and I'm looking at it, and all of a sudden it busts open, and I see down a weird fun house hall kind of. There's these wires dangling, electricity. I can see he's swinging back and forth. He's got his head down, looks almost head's been chopped off or something, and he's got the white lab coat on, Trickler down. And a splash of shower blood comes up and lands on the back of his jacket, and he turns around and stares right at her. And she freaks out. The furnace lights up. She flies backwards, bangs up against the wall. The sparks are flying everywhere, and she runs. The next thing I know, Trickler's right on her heels, and he's chewing right at her Achilles' head. Yeah! He's chasing her. She runs through the basement. She runs and jumps and bangs right on that giant bar door. She's going so fast it can't swallow her. She keeps going as far as she can. She's out through the double cellar doors. They slam. Trickler laughs. But I am upside down in the heat vents. I'm panicking. I'm scared sick myself. I can't believe what I've seen. I just want to get out of here. I'm half upside down. Get me out of here! Get me out of here! And he comes up and juts his face in a military fashion. He's like, you calm down. Are you trying to sabotage what I'm doing? Are you trying to sabotage all this stuff? This is beautiful. Now you work with me or you work somewhere else. Because I need your help and assist. You're my doctor. I should be able to trust you in moments like this. Now come on. I want you to relax. Feel the deep breath of the heat vent on your face. He blows a hot air over me and I relax and my face goes placid and our faces kind of fall together. Now count us out of this. Okay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 of the basement doors are closing. They fly. 4, 3, 2, 1. Seems like an eternity since we wake up. I wake up in the office and Trickler's there with me. His thumb starts shaking already and his hand's shaking. He's catatonic again. Oh boy, I'm exhausted after that. God, either way, I can see it all, feel it all. Well, I'd say we made marvelous progress today, Mr. Trickler, I believe it is. I close my file. I plug in the intercom. Wait a minute. What? Wait a minute before you plug that in. We gotta go back right now. We got some time thing we
got to do some things fast, because as soon as Ed finds out about it, we're in serious trouble. He always finds out he's going to know she's over there. I think we had enough for today, Mr. Trickler. I'm exhausted, and I'd appreciate it if we could end the session now. We'll have plenty of other sessions in the future, so I'm going to put this up. Wait a second. Please, don't send me back up there. I don't want them to know that my tongue's been loosed. If they know that, there's going to be all sorts of trouble in the old day. Okay, all right, that's fine. I won't tell anything. And I go to plug back in the intercom. Ow! It's pretty good. Why did that trigger right in my mind there? I feel the pain in my pinky when I try to plug back in the intercom. Crazy. So I plug it back in. Hey, darling, will you please come get Mr. Trickler? We've had it for a day. Mr. Trickler's like waiting right outside the door. I hope he wasn't listening in. I think that's unethical. And the door opens up, and he walks in, and Trickler's panicking, and he reaches forward and grabs the edge of death and bites on the edge, and won't go, and I'm like, come on, Trickler, let's call it a day, please. And Darling, I guess, knows how to handle that. I don't approve, but he takes up the broom handle, bangs it on the edge of death, and he wheels him down the hall, and he brings in this kind of stick figure, like a little mannequin kid with his legs kind of wobbling, and he dumps him in a chair. It's Mr. Bracer, my second patient. Brace Boy, they call him nickname. It's red plume of hair and his jaw's gnashing. And I'm cleaning up the papers that Trickler pulled off my desk. Yeah, look at this monster kid they put down in the basement office with me here. And I hear the voice of Trickler. Doesn't make any sense. I planted things in your mind when you're looking in the lamp down there in the basement, down there in the examination room. I planted files in your mind. I just want you to realize something. Race Boy is the one who invented the lobotogram when he was very young. So I just wanted you to meet him. Lobotomized, don't worry. And so I go out the hall. What? Darling's wheeling Trickler down the hall. Darling looks back at me. You want something? No, I just wonder what's the deal with this guy's face in here? He's got, this thing on his jaw. Oh, he's a biter. Yeah, he's a real biter. We gotta lock that on so he won't bite his fingers off. Some of his fingers are missing. Yeah, see, he swallows them right down and never do find the bones. He'll bite anything he can. He goes into the elevator, rides on up. Oh, let's see. I go back to Jones. She walks out of those double basement cellar doors. She kind of hugs the side of the house, just keeps her eyes on the door. She doesn't want anything to come out after her. She could have sworn something swiping at her feet as she went. And then she bumps into something, and she pulls out her screwdriver, tries to fend him off. It's this big, tall, doofy-looking guy with a giant brow up here. Hey, he pulls out his screwdriver like he wants to fight. I'm Larson, electrician. Someone called a couple weeks back. I was just fiddling around in the brain center here of your, electric meter, trying to get this house up to power here. I hope you don't mind. He digs into it, gets his fingers like dangerously deep in these wires with all these crispy spiders and things. Look out, sparks are flying. I got to change a few fuses. Oh, you got one labeled here for the deep freeze. Uh-oh. Oh boy, someone forgot to turn this off so many years ago. I'm afraid to tell you what your bill might be next time you see it. Whoa, boy, she's really eating too. It's really twirling. That's weird. All the rest of the house powered down. Huh. Oh well, he goes and fiddles around there, plays around with it for a while, changes things. So you're moving in, huh? No, I'm not moving in. I'm trying to fix the place up to sell it and get rid of it. My mom willed it to me about 20 years ago, and I just want to get it off my hands, maybe get a little cash. Well, you ain't gonna sell anything with the asylum up the hill up there. They get out of there periodically. And this is the first place they come, it's so close and all. Great. So he plays around the wires a little bit longer. But they've all been lobotomized, pretty harsh lobotomies. Yeah, they're all pretty harmless. They stick a big old screwdriver or ice pick right in here and here, wiggle around, turns the brains to egg yolk, so you don't have nothing to worry about. There, I'll just throw this little lever here. looks like it's pretty working. I'll have to notify somebody about that weird wire down here leading into your deep freeze. I'll tell somebody about that. He leaves. I got Mr. Bracer in a deep, deep hypnotic state. And I got my mind on leaving. It's been a long day in the office. I'm exhausted. I've got him imagining that he's out on a beach, walking among the surf. Isn't it peaceful being free of all your constraints? Being out wandering countryside. You can be healed in a minute, Mr. Bracer. You can be healed in a minute. All you need to do is get this jaw contraption off of you. Now, every time you hear the buzzing of the intercom, I'm playing a little trigger in his mind, that means that you'll be free of all constraints. You'll be able to run free without biting anything. You'll be able to eat only what's given to you, okay? Eat. Buzzes. People should not be interrupting me in the middle of a session. Eat. Yes. Is this Dr. Hazard? Yeah. How can I help you, Head? Well, I just wanted to know how things went with Mr. Trickler and your therapy today. Oh, it went pretty well. He sure has some bizarre delusions going on here, the usual paranoid fantasies and this kind of, perverse sexuality, things like that. Seems to be obsessed with some woman up the road, I don't know what it's all about, but I figured, I'd just get him in a little hypnotic therapy, take him in pretty deep, see things, a lot of freedom that way. It's nice. Very interesting. I tried to buzz down earlier and I was not able to. Maybe you should have Darling look at your intercom. Oh, no, I unplugged it, sir, because Trickler's looked pretty paranoid and I figured I may as well indulge him a little bit. No, that's unacceptable, Dr. Hazard. Look, we send signals in case of tornadoes and other types of disasters over that intercom. I don't appreciate your unplugging it. Oh, okay, sir. Look, there isn't much in Trickler's file. I'm just wondering, what's the deal with his head? What happened, do you know? Very unfortunate brain tumor. Yes, he was brilliant too. Well, I'll talk to you again, Dr. Hazard. Please keep me posted on how things are going. You talked about some woman up the road, and I'd like to know more about her. Yeah, it's all pretty still kind of foggy to me now. I haven't dissected all the symbols yet, sir, but as soon as I figure them out, I'll give you a report. Right away, please. Yes, sir. I kind of could see him in my mind. This little thing pressed up against his neck, this little tracheotic hole there. I even kind of imagined for a moment that he smiled a little in the tracheotomy, kind of curled upward. So I leave the office and I drive back roads. I buzz to Darling, remind old Brace boy that every time he hears the buzz, he can be free of his constraints. I'm driving and I see the old for sale by owner sign, and I see this odd flickering up at Joan's house. Kind of weird, all the lights, all the windows in her house are just flickering like something, maybe she's got some movie going or something like that, like a TV. So I hesitate a moment. Why not? A little family therapy, nothing wrong with that. I pull up around the bend there and go up to her house. I kind of park a little bit back behind the house so that no one at the asylum will notice. I don't want them to think anything unethical's going on or anything like that. I go up to her front door, twirl a little hand-wound doorbell kind of thing. The flickering goes off. She opens the door. It's amazing. She looks exactly like the fantasies that Trickler and I had together, and I'm astonished. Frankly, I'm astonished. I see what she looks like. And I'm staring at her. I think she notices that. She has a crowbar kind of at hand and ready to bash me over the skull. I saw the for sale by owner sign out there on the road. I thought I'd come and see her insides, if you don't mind. She steps away from the door. I guess that means come on in. So I walk inside there a little bit. It's kind of a bone empty place. I wander around. It's pretty amazing. I look around. My eyes keep returning to her. It's deja vu or something. It's like I've seen her before. Are you looking at me or the house? It seems like I know you from somewhere. Sorry. Yeah, it's a little bit off the beaten path, isn't it? Yeah, that's why I'm wondering how you found it. Yeah, I'm just driving through. I bet you get a little frightened out here. I go and look out the window, and if I croon my head the right way, I can almost see the woods there where the asylum might be. I get a little nervous out in these plains all alone. I bet you get freaked out too, that you're all alone in this creepy old house. Yeah, it would drive me nuts after a little while. Get awful lonely. What I do is I turn on the radio or talk to somebody. That kind of roots me back in reality a little bit. That's what I do. Get lonely when I get lonely. Look, I don't have a bed, if that's what you're thinking. Kind of laughed, try to laugh off. Well, that's what I was thinking, man. It's just dark hair. No, I wasn't thinking that. Oh, look, you're a doctor, aren't you? Yeah, Doc Hazard. Good to meet you. Yeah, I can tell. I know your mind games. Yeah, I work up at the asylum here. Well, I think I'll be going now because it looks like you're in the middle of the project. She's got a little film projector out here, a little 8mm thing. She's projecting something, I don't know, on this blank wall over here. I'm walking towards the front. Wait a second. Sorry, it is a little bit lonely out here. There's a lot of solitude, and it does kind of get me after a little while. I mean, anyone could just drive up my drive here, strap me down in bed, rape me, lock me in the cellar, and no one would ever come. Know what I mean? Yeah, I guess so. So she sits down here on the sofa for a little while. Doctor, I'm going to tell you honestly, I've been remembering some weird things in this old house. I've been remembering and dreaming odd things. Well, tell me about it. I mean, it can't be any weirder than anything I hear up at the asylum every day. Go ahead, I'm here with you. Don't be afraid. I kind of sit down on the couch next to her, thinking maybe being a little father figure, So I can just remember these really strange things that went on when I was a kid. And they're coming and they're bubbling up to the surface all the time. I don't know what to make of them. I can remember a lot of the games that my dad and I used to play out in these back plains. I don't know. Sometimes he'd lay on the kitchen floor there, the checkered floor with black and white checkered floor and blue walls, and he'd have me pulling by the ankles towards the basement door. He's preparing for a nuclear attack or something. I don't know what was going on in his mind. And other times we'd build a little fortress out of mattresses down in the basement and hide down there and play games and stuff for a long time. He said it was just in case it ever dropped or something. And he'd show me films. He kind of weirded out a little bit. And I just don't know about him. I'm having some odd memories, and they'd come for him sometimes in their black cars, and they'd pick him up. And he'd disappear for 2-3 weeks at a time. And I didn't know him, Mom didn't know him, no one knew him. It's a mystery. I'm just thinking about him. Well, did your dad ever hurt you in any way? Yes. Can you tell me about it? She starts crying a little bit. I look away to give her some privacy. Go ahead and talk about it. It might help you get rid of it. I gotta sleep here at night. I'm not gonna tell you any more about this time. All right, just relax. I'm here with you. I kind of put my arm back behind her a little bit, comfort her a little bit. Did he ever hurt you? That's my question. Yeah, he poked me once. What do you mean he poked you once? I don't know, this thing, it was I don't know what he was doing. And in my mind, Trickler's done a good job of planting these little delusionary kind of triggers in my mind. I'm seeing him, he's got her little hand there on the toilet seat, and he's kind of poking the long minute hand into her pinky finger there. Yeah, oh no, that can't be it. It's obviously symbolic of something else that we need to get to the root of. So my mind churns a little bit more. She tells me, oh, so what happened then? I just cried and ran through the wood, and he said, don't ever tell anybody because they'll kill me, and not to tell Mommy, please, he's so sorry. And he pulls the leaves out of my hair and go over to the water basin, and he splashes water on my splash, cleans the dirt off me. Okay. Joan, do you think maybe he was just a plain sicko? Do you think that could be a possibility here? She gets indignant and angry. Tears are still flowing. She looks at me. No. I loved my daddy. Look, I'm not saying you didn't love him, I'm saying he didn't love you. I'm just saying sometimes odd things happen. Maybe even once they happen, and we don't know how to deal with it, and we just kind of sweep it under the rug, create these weird symbols, kind of symbolize things. That's all I'm saying. I think maybe you need to be a little more truthful with yourself and with me, and we can kind of work this thing out a little bit more. No. She stands up, walks over to the door. Get out. Look, you're not going to solve any problems by doing this. Just get out of here. I walk towards the door. I hear something. Did you hear that? There's a thump up there. There's a thump up there in the ceiling. Did you? She's gone. She's already run out in the front yard. I freaked out a little while running out with her. Well, what's going on? She's running around in the front yard. She's just throwing rocks. I'm getting out of here. And she jumps into her green station wagon and pats her naked legs. She's got a little nightgown on. And she pats her legs. Go in there and get my keys because I'm getting out of here. I say, look, I hold the door. I just say, relax. Look, I'm not going in there alone, okay? You got me a little freaked out too, to tell you the truth. And I think that if we go in there together and handle it, we might have a little bit of luck at getting to the roots of these problems. So we go in together. And I follow her for a moment until I can get the crowbar. I'm pretty scared. I got the crowbar there, and we're just creaking inside the house. I think our silence is what terrifies me almost more than anything, because I can hear every creak and moan in the house. I walk up the stairs. We go up the stairs on the left together. She's just pressing up against me. The fear is just kind of sensuous in a way. I can feel the fear. And I whisper in her ear, shh, be real quiet. I touch my lips to her ear. Fear, it just intensifies everything. She says, if I want to make noise, I will. She blew our cover. Okay, just relax, all right? And we pop up the stairs and step on a couple of squeak too loudly, and we're up there in the hallway, and there's a little bedroom here to the left. Okay, I got the crowbar ready. It's a pink room. That was my room. So we skittering around and chase out at us. It's pretty much dark outside. Nothing. I walk down the hall. Open the second room. It's a yellow room, gaudy yellow. There's old rusty box springs over in the corner there. No foam or anything on it, just box spring. I look through the crack of the door. Nothing in there. I'm gonna start walking. Here's the handle. The closet. Yeah. So we go inside. And I hold the crowbar up pretty high. Okay. Open it. You open it. Now, come on. Look, I'm doing this, all right? Now open the damn door. She gets over to the side. She can see her face all bloated in that doorknob, It's kind of brass doorknob. Slams, the plaster falls. Nothing. Nothing. It's my job, chasing skeletons from closets, I guess. Okay. And we're getting a little cocky now, joking around a little bit. We wander a little bit farther down the hall to the master bedroom. Get ready. I open the door, and I see it. She freaks out and slaps me all over my back. I'm just playing on with her mind a little bit. Your boxes fell over, all right? Just calm down a little bit. They're laid on the floor there. Just chill. Look, relax. You see? Great. All right, just calm down. Calm down, huh? Look, I'm just playing with you. Get out of here. Fine. And I take the crowbar and I, with a symbolic gesture, toss it on her little bedroll, and I walk down the hall and out the front door. Wait a minute. Thanks. Jeez. Yeah, you're welcome. I get in the car and drive off. It's been a long night. As I go to sleep, I have these odd memories and flashbacks and dreams. Seeing Joan, watching these weird films, nuclear explosions, people melting, stuff like that. What kind of way is that to spend your night? I guess she's drumming up some repressed memories, though. I'm proud of her. I had this vision, this dream that kept me awake. sound asleep, she heard a sound in the heat vent. You see, that morning she put a rat trap deep inside that heat vent with a gob of peanut butter on it. I'm seeing her reaching her arm inside the heat vent. No, 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 no! She reaches inside there, feels around. Next thing I'm seeing in my dream, she's leaning in over the toilet with this giant rat trap and a huge spring there, and she pries back the spring, and there's this pinky finger stuck underneath the spring of the rat trap. It's been there long enough that it seems like it's sort of started, the flesh has worked its way around the metal, and she has to shake it a little. Plunks in the toilet. She flushes it and it spins down the hole. Sugar gives me some powerful dreams, I guess. Take a 10-minute intermission. Day 2 therapy. The intercom is unplugged and we go into our hypnotic state again. I want to visit her last night. Oh, no. What do you mean visit her last night? There's no visiting her last night. I visited her last night. No, you can't do that. You can't go into fantasies without me. I gotta be there. Come on, Trickler. I want to visit her last night. I took you with me. No. No, you didn't take me with you. How did you manage that? I blew in your face like this. And I relaxed. And I counted you down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we were there, staring out of the heating vent into Joan's house. Impossible. But we are. We're staring out of the heating vent into Joan's master bedroom there. And I can see her little bed there. And I can see the bone white floor. Listen. She's talking to somebody down there. Last night, huh? Yeah. Now look, we got one last little duty to do. It's a simple thing. We're going in and plant one last little trigger in her mind, and then we'll have power over her. Okay? We need to push her close to the edge of schizophrenia, but not over that edge. We need to ask her, make her question whether or not she is sane. And as soon as she questions her sanity, that will be the key to finding out the repressed secret. See, the repressed secret will allow me to cure myself and to save the world from conspiracy. And the way that we'll do that is simple. You see, screamers were created by Head Doc. He created them. He was throwing children through the hole, not me. He was abducting children, throwing them through the hole, not me. He said they last longer than old folks on life support. That's true. He's using fetus, whatever you need to use. He's teaching secrets. He'd lobotomize them. He'd hide them away in insane asylums across America. 40,000 lobotomies between 45 and the present. Doesn't that seem a little odd to you, Dr. Hazard? Well, it's odd, all right. And they hide them among legitimately insane, and no one will ever know that they're paranoid schizophrenics or that they've really seen something. Oh, yeah. Government's intelligent. They know they can't store them in the shelves down there in the effigy chamber. There's no safer place than the human mind. Now we're going to go plant a little trigger in her mind. Now notice, you're not going to be able to speak anymore because I got your voice box. See, I need 2 to speak in the state which I will be in. You will soon understand. And also, I'm now taking your body apart, Dr. Hazard. You can feel your leg peeling right off your body. And I'm not able to say a thing. And I'm sliding your body, your leg. I'm sliding your arms first, through the heating vent. I'm seeing the arm reach through and then another arm holding it. It sets it down inside the bone white floor there. And you can even feel the splinters in your back even as I slide you across the floor, but you won't feel any pain. No, sir, you won't feel any pain. And then he slides the rest of my body, my torso through, and he's got the parts of it wrapped in this kind of newspaper here so it won't leak all over the floor. He pushes me in and slides me in, and I'm seeing body parts, and my head goes through, and then he's peeling off the stuff from my limbs and the newspaper and puts it back down behind him in the heat vent. Watch out for those rat traps in there. Someone put a rat trap in there. Might be a little surprise. Watch out for that. Okay, now I'm going to rearrange your body and puts my body back together. I can feel the synapses kind of easing back together. You know, feel it all, boy. Enjoy these sensations. I'm feeling it, and it's working. And I feel all the body and all the nerves are coming back together. Oh, and then all of a sudden, it's like I've been walking around all day, and I just got off the airplane, and my ears all stuffed up, you know, and then finally, like a rush, it just kind of goes, and I can hear, and that's the way it felt, except it was my whole body, and it was amazing. It was, and so I sit up, and I notice my legs are still gone. You're not going to be able to scream, and you're not going to be able to bang for help. You scream, you bang for help, and I keep them. Understand me? At that point, he slides my legs through, and they are reattached to. And then Tricker's head comes through the heating vent. His arms are holding it out at me. He holds his head right out at me. Is there a head shrinker in the house? Take me, damn it! Come on, we gotta get on the move. I take him, and I'm holding him down like a sickly chunk of rotten putrid meat. He's leaking all over my legs. I'm making him see because he kept my clothes down there in the eating vent, and I'm up there in Jones' bedroom now. I'm hearing the mumbling downstairs. Let's get to work. Go to the bathroom. I go into the bathroom. I stand over the toilet. No, don't take a piss. Don't go to the bathroom. Go into the bathroom. Now, come on. Now, listen up here. Now, you pan me around down by the bottom of the toilet. I pan him around. Come on, hold me down there. I hold him down around. I pan him around. There, and he jumps with his tongue. And I see his tongue. Okay, that's it. That wing nut right there. Oh, there's perverts all over this stupid country. They put tunnels everywhere in this house. The government did it. They even put tunnels down under there. Come on, twist that little wing nut. Put me down. Don't put me down on the floor. Put me down someplace cleaner. I stick on the back of the porcelain toilet there. I get down there, I work the little knob down there. A few bubbles come out the toilet. That's all there is to it. We're done. Let's get out of here. All right. I go pick up Trickler, and he's stuck. He's stuck to the toilet. His kind of limp and neck muscles kind of went all down there, all over the porcelain, sticking like an old kind of rotten starfish there. And I kind of had to pry my hand around. It's warm under there, and the juice is leaking all the green and pinks. And I try to pull up, and I lose control. It wasn't my fault. It was not my fault. No, he was the one who was sticking there. And he falls, and he almost falls right into the bowl. And he thumps to the ground hard. A couple other things fall off toiletries. I just hear him cussing. Bust his lip. Pick him up. Pick him up. They heard us. No, they heard us. I know they heard us. They heard the thump down there last night. Well, we gotta get down here. There's no time to get through the heating vent. Now listen, you got first step 12, psychological warfare. You gotta get over there, create a decoy. I scatter the boxes across Jones' floor. Quietly. Splay out the stuff a little bit, try to make it look haphazard. And I throw my back up against the door, and I'm listening at the crack of the door. They'll be coming. Pull me up to your ear. No, not your ear. Okay. Listen to me. They're going to come to the first door. Psychological dictates. Section 12. First door, they will go to it. Second door, they will go to it. You, at that point, are going to take the biggest risk of your life, and you're going to sneak into the first bedroom. Do you understand me? Nod. I'm hearing the creaking on the steps. And I hear a loud whispering out there. John's whispering out there loud. Who's she talking to, I wonder? I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him because I know it'll push me over an edge into schizophrenia. And that's not a place where I feel kindly to what's going. And I'm listening. I'm hearing the door open. bedroom. And I smash his face a little bit, and she goes all over my side now, and I hold him down. Shut up. I know her psychology better than you do. I know things. I'm a doctor, too. And I'm holding him, and he bites my hand. And I'm squeezing his head. And I hear the closet door open. That's when I make my move. And I'm going down the hall, you should have seen it. I'm carrying his head, and he's trying to look over to the side. He wants to see it, so I just kind of hold him away a little bit. I don't want him to see it, and I don't want to see it, because I know if I see it, there's an edge. There's an edge that you have to stay away from. And I hear them in there talking a little bit, and I make it into the first room just as I'm sure they scuttled out, wherever they are. And I'm in the first room, and I press my back up against the wall. And I set Trickler in my lap. And the juice is all over me. That was brilliant. How did you know you're really melding with her? You're really melding with her. You really know what's going on. Yeah, give me back my voice box. I want to scream. And I hear them down there in the master bedroom laughing and talking. He screams, what's that asshole? I don't know who he is. I don't know, and I don't want to find out. Let's go back to the heating vent. We got one in this room, too. As soon as they leave, shh. They go down the stairs. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. I wake up in my office. I guess you could say Trickler's taking control of some of these therapy sessions. His hand is shoved deeply into my mouth. And that's the reason I can't speak. It has nothing to do with him taking my vocal cords. He thinks he has some kind of power? No! And he pulls it out of my mouth. And the spit stream, and I run off in the corner. You monster! What are you doing, Jazzy? What are you doing? What are you trying to do? He says, you cannot face the truth. Ed is coming. Ed is going to get all these secrets if we don't help fast. I don't know who was over there meddling. I hope to God it wasn't Ed planting things in her mind, twisting up her ways of thinking. He'll operate that quickly. You watch him feed. And if he knows things, I don't know how he finds out. And you wouldn't be... Dr. Hazard, you wouldn't be trying to sabotage what we're doing here, would you? Would you? You're sick. You can't face the truth. I can't face the truth. You can't face the truth. You can't face the truth at all. Look, your lip's bleeding. But the first thing I gotta tell you, Trickler, is that you have created all these inane symbols to cover up, yes, to cover up for your sicko perversions. You molested your daughter, Trickler. And as soon as you get to terms with that, sooner or later you will get cured. So face up that fact. Trickler turns his head to the ceiling. Pentecostal preacher. I can't stand it anymore. I plug in the intercom. Darling, get him out of here. He's right at the door again, listening in as he wheels him out and rolls in another creepy creature. There's another one of these crazy patients driving me nuts. It's heart leeching, crazy man with a wisp of white hair. He walks around with a pacemaker on. He sets him down in there in my office. Just get out of here. I don't have anything more to do with you. So I take Heinrich Hartleach. See, Trickler's voice told me this. He planted a file in my mind. Heinrich Hartleach, though infirm, was once a Nazi psychosurgeon. He invented the Screatures, but I'm the only one that could find the cure, and I never told anyone because that would make me an expendable. Knowledge is power, Dr. Hazard, lobotomized. I see. Okay. And so I begin. I know he's a religious man, it says in his files. And I know he's kind of believes in some things, so I kind of, do a little bit of preaching myself. I can heal you! And I put him through a little hypnotic stage there. Pull that little pacemaker out of your mouth. Just pull it out of your chest here. Reach on the side there. You can do that in a hypnotic state. Anyone can do that. Just pull it on out and dangle it there. That's right. And he's doing it in his mind. I can tell. That's all I need to know. And I kind of rest my head up against the back of hug his head, sort of bless him a little bit, and pound my head on his. He said, touch is good in therapy. You touch a little bit, and it kind of bonds you to people. Great. And then the buzzer buzzes. Heinrich Hartleach, when you hear that buzzer, you can just be free of this contraption in your chest. I'm playing a trigger in your mind. I think I know who's there. Hello? Dr. Hazard. Yeah. Yes, Head, how are you doing today? I go over to the little window, put it on the conference call. There's a little piece of glass missing the window. I kind of reach my hand out because it's starting to rain. There's a severe storm warning out. I wanted to call down and tell you that, but something seemed to be wrong with your intercom again. Yeah, I'm seeing the jagged edge of the glass there pretty close to my wrist. Yeah, and the rain patters there on my hand. Ed, I got a question for you. Yes. Is Trickler dangerous? He's minor stuff. Don't worry about him. It's true. A long time ago, he was in psychological warfare unit out in Fort Riley, Kansas. But don't worry about that. That's all. He was a very small-time person. He has no power. Well, he has a way of kind of getting in your mind, you know. What do you mean? I don't know. Look, I'm afraid. What? Excuse me? That I'm all right. I have my hand out the window and this block of gooey brown stuff lands on my hand. It looks like phlegm, sputum, and mucus. And I wipe it there on the grass and pull my hand back out of the window there. I just gotta know a few more things about it. There's nothing in his file. That kind of made me antsy a little bit, you know. I do have a proposal for his treatment. I think he's at the stage now. You know, he's got all these fantasies about this fantasy woman up the road here. And I really think that he needs to meet her. And by meeting her, he will have power, he will invigorate himself in his treatment, you know, and he'll be able to really come through with some great revelations here. So let's get those two together. What do you think, Ed? What do you think? I think that'd be really interesting. I'd love to watch a mental enema through a two-way mirror. No, sir. He's terrified of you. Yeah, Sir, you've got some control over his mind. He's scared of you. He's got all these fantasies about you two. I don't think it's appropriate for you to be listening in as we go through treatment together. I think it would, you know, we ought to just indulge him. We ought to indulge him a little bit. We need to do that. Well, I'm afraid my answer must be no, Dr. Hazard. What if he got violent and mashed your sweet little head on the corner of his desk? What would happen? What would happen then? Did that? No, we don't have insurance to cover that kind of damage, so I'm afraid that I'll have to say no. Well, then I don't want to treat him anymore. No. Dr. Hazard, you're making such marvelous progress. Keep working with it, please, and keep me another report as soon as possible. So, I'll leave the asylum again. I can't help it. Why? Why am I compelled towards trouble? I don't know. I see her house. I stop out there in front of her house. Oh, please. I pull on up the drive. Gotta visit her again. And she goes on whining more and more about these little freaky Cold War fears that she has about her dad and how this house listens. People come down the halls and they scrape along the halls and I hear them. They talk like frogs sometimes and they come down the hall and they say, your daddy wants you. Come here, little girl. And they chase me down one day. They took my daddy away and my mommy away and they came back and they were monsters. And I remember my mom, she just sat up there in the bed. I'm seeing things. I'm just seeing in my mind what she's talking about. And I see her mother there up in a room with this beautiful blue light, and she looks elegant like a statue, and she has all these scabby scars all over her naked skull, no hair, and barbed wire wrapped around and around and around and around her skull there. Some kind of odd stitching that they maybe did back in the 40s or 50s, I don't know. And I'm seeing my mom, and my mom was always up there screaming with my dad, and then something happened with my dad. He took me down into this tunnel, and he said, Mommy needs our help. Mommy needs our help. And he started cutting her, and he pulled staples and safety pins and things out of her head, and he got inside a stick saw and pulled her brain out of a jar and stuck it in there and jumper cables. I can remember it all. I can see it all so vividly in my mind. And I'm seeing it all too. And I'm thinking, what is this? Some sicko perversion that they all had together or something? I mean, what kind of family is this anyway? I'm getting a little bit sick to my stomach hearing all this. And then, Daddy made me do the same thing to me. He says he wanted to cut the dirty secrets out of his head. That's why I made me stick things in him too. Oh, jeez, I'm getting sick to my stomach. Oh, what's wrong with this woman? And so he looked in a little mirror and he watched while I probed his brain. You see, there's no nerve cells in the mind. You don't feel any pain up there. Oh, there's nerve cells, all right. No pain cells, though. And so I can just see her. He forced her to watch Mom getting her surgery done. You see head drop Mom through the hole, I'm sure. I'm figuring it all out. And so he was there watching in a mirror as she probed, and then he gets a little peaceful, serene look on his face. She must have hid the secret. She cut it out of him, I guess, stuck it in a jar or something like that somewhere. I don't know what's going on. I'm just feeling, look, I'm getting out of here. It's raining out now. It's raining out. John, I gotta go. I had enough. Okay? I might drop by tomorrow or something. You can catch me up at the asylum. Wait a minute. It's raining out. Can't deny that maybe I knew a few things about her dad, and I put a few things together and maybe manipulated her a little bit, but I didn't mind too much. We went upstairs. I put a big box by the heat vent. I put a bunch of clothes along the line there underneath the crack of the door. Stuck a gob of peanut butter there in the place where the key goes. I put a few little sheets up here on the windows, you know, so that no one can even peek through the windows. Not bad. The bathroom, I shut the bathroom door. We're in the dark, kissing her. For a minute, I'm forgetting my troubles. Kissing her. There's a beam of light coming through, moonlight. I love the way it traces across her collarbone. I move her around so she can see it there. I can see it. What's that? I kiss her and there's a little freckle. Mole. It's a mole. Scoot her over into the light a little bit. Just that little beam of moonlight. It's right on it. She's got a zit here on her collarbone. It's not a mole. I roll over on my back. Man, I'm dysfunctional. Can't even perform or nothing. I roll there and stare at the ceiling. Just, what's the matter? Just don't touch me. I look up there, and I can see where the little light bulb, naked light bulb would have come through the ceiling there to be turned on. I can see up there where it comes through the ceiling, there's a black hole up there. I'm wondering maybe he's peeking down at me right now. I cover myself with the covers. I wake up a little bit later. Joan's kind of scrambled out of bed. She opens up the bathroom door. She's in their bathroom, and I hear her peeing in there. Sick my stomach, you freak pervert. I lay down there for a while. I hear a sound in there. Bathroom light clicks on. He comes running in, dives on me. I shove him against the wall pretty hard. Like, you don't surprise someone like that when they're sleeping, okay? And I shove him up against the wall. What's wrong? She comes right, grabs clean on me. It's in there, get it. What's in there? The hand's in there, the hand's grew into a hand, And I go in there, I could have sworn I saw it. And I was there sloshing around, Trickler's hand, sloshing around there in the toilet. You pervert, that's what you did, wasn't it? That's where you molested your daughter. I know it now, I've seen it all. That's where he did it to you, right? Right there and there. And I see in the hand, no, I didn't see any hand. There's just blue yellow water in there. And I'm just freaking out. I go downstairs, and I am sitting there on her old ottoman couch down in the living room, and my eyes are just wide open with black rings around them. And the rain's still coming down. And I'm hearing the patter in the rain. And of course she's sound asleep. Fine. I step over her and I leave her to herself. Day 3, the cure. Darling brings me in to the big sleeping commons there through the dining middle door where Trickler's always sleeping. He walks me right after Trickler's bed. Trickler's laying there catatonic. He's just chewing his cud. Tears in his eyes. Jeez, he's catatonic. What do I need to do? I kneel down beside him. Get pretty close to him, kind of act like I'm examining him or something. What happened? Darling just kind of prodding him, like pull up his shirt. He's got bruises and welts all over him. What happened? What'd they do to you? Bed sores? What are these things? What's going on here? He doesn't say anything. Look, Trickler, I'm sorry I betrayed your trust, all right? Yeah, I've been visiting her. I gotta get to the bottom of your problem for you, so I've gotta go and do a little bit of detective work on my own, okay? Can't you understand? Look, I'm hearing him wheezing over in the corners. I'll bring her to you. How'd you like that? Mr. Darling's over there, and he's sticking a little kind of wet towel at him in one of the gassers tracheotic holes and slamming it around so he doesn't make such pussy wheezing noises when he breathes. And Brace Boy's over there drinking his brown liquid diet, and he's got it stuck in between all his ashy teeth there, and he coughs a little bit when I get so sentimental with Trickler. I think it makes him a little nauseous or something, and he kind of and coughs all his brown liquid diet out. Well, that's what I see. I'm figuring it all out. So then I'm here, and I'll bring her to you. All I need is a sign. Just give me a sign. You don't have to say anything or nothing. Scratch it on your door. Scratch it on your Popeye pad or something. I don't care. Just give me a sign. Nothing. And I hear a gasser over there mumbling some word salads. Like, oh, watch out, there's people down here. If you change, they're going to get you. Oh, God, beware, Dr. Hazard. And I look up just in time to see Darling kind of conveniently over here working on one of the patients pretty nearby listening. You know what's going on? You need something here? No. Just trying to listen in. I look over at the intercom. I got a feeling head dog's trying to listen in, too. Just give me a sign, that's all I ask. Lights crap out, go black, and all the patients in the asylum. All right, it's pretty dark in there. You gonna do something about that, darling? You turn on the lights or something? I can do. I'm bringing her to you. Just let me know, because I can't do it legally without your permission. Just fine. I'm walking away. Me one with me. What? That's enough for me. That's enough for me. All right. So I go back down to the basement. The lights are out. I open up the basement door. And I'm feeling along the halls, you know, because the only thing that's on is the emergency red light, you know, that kind of lets you see where you're going. And I'm hearing something in my office. Who's there? I want to know who's there. It's me. It's Nurse Mabel. I just thought I'd bring you this. She lights a match and a candle. Didn't want you to be frightened down here all alone. Rubber neck. There he is, with his halo device, staring out at his rubber sloppy neck, hanging down like some kind of weird vulture neck. Leave me alone with him. We'll be seeing you later. Nurse Mabel walks out of the room. Damn her. Sneaky. All of them are sneaky. Passive aggressive is the way they are. Look, they put a bolt and a bunch of little bracket thing right over the intercom cord so I can't unplug it anymore. Passive aggressive. Why can't they just deal with me like an adult? Instead of treating me that way. And so I tell him that all he has to hear is the buzz, and he can be free of all constraints, relax, be at peace there. Okay, I'm going to be right here with you the whole time. I say pretty loud, so you're calling here. Right here with you. So you just do that right, so I'm just going to relax too. I sit down the hall. I got a plan. I go up into the hallway and get Bracer. Mr. Bracer, I'm going for a walk. I make a little buzzing noise in his ear. He starts to gnash his teeth. I go that, come on. And I'm wheeling down the hall, and I got this kind of red stocking cap. We're just going to go get a little fresh air. I'm telling the insane patients that are rolling around the halls. You know, it kind of smells like this a little bit over the air mount. You know, get out some fresh air in the rain. All right, so we go out and down the hall, and I'm taking him out. He's got a straight jacket on, so I feel pretty safe. And I take him out. Come on. I take him outside, get him in the courtyard, strap him up against the fence. I take off one of his clothes because, you know, I need to wear them. I had to be in disguise. I put on a red stocking cap that he was wearing, and I Carefully, unstrapped a little leather cord there. Yeah. Spit strings off. Yeah. Most of his fingers are missing. I put it on me, go out some spit, and I run through the woods. I run to Joan's house. And I get there to the back of Joan's house. And I see through her basement window, she's busted them all out. Her whole basement is flooded with water now. And I'm seeing something that is very odd, very peculiar to me. I noticed that the little electricity meter is still rolling. No. The power's out. And I see the deep freeze and the fans churning. What's going on in this house? And I hear the front door bell ring. And the deep freeze opens up. And the kind of frosty air comes flying out of it. Joan steps out of the deep freeze, and she's carrying an old canning jar. It's kind of this brown, old, kind of mayonnaise jar. It's got trickler scrawled across it in this childish scrawl. Maybe she wrote it herself or something. And then she opens up the jar, reaches in, and pulls out this kind of chunk of grayish matter with like little nerves hanging, and they're whipping around. And she sticks it in her mouth. And she runs up the stairs. I'm up against the wall so she can't see. I don't want her to go crazy, thinking someone escaped from the asylum or something. And I've got all a bracelet guard on, so I'm in pretty good disguise. And I wait a little while, and then I hear the voices inside the house. So I go to the back kitchen door. Step inside. I'm sorry. Darling, if you're going to come to the asylum and see your father, we got to secure you and make sure that no patients get diseases. It's all in good order, and, we've seen one naked little girl, you've seen them all, so don't be afraid. And I'm going around down that long hallway towards the living room. I'm hearing their voices there. Don't be afraid now. We're just going to search you out. And I peek around the corner, and I can see that Nurse Mabel's there, like, feeling Joan's breasts. I don't know what they're doing. And Joan's just sitting there, catatonic again, staring forward, just like her father. Her father, yeah. And then, darling, he's got his tongue kind of hanging fat and pussy out of his lips. And he takes a turn, feeling her. What? Come on! What's going on here? And then, out of the corner, Hartleach steps. The Nazi guy with his white hair and steel eyes and got a little black doctor's bag. Darling, these are necessary things that we're doing here. Why are you so cold? Honey, we'll warm you up a little bit. We're all professionals here. Okay, we're going to probe your body a little bit, look at your body cavities, make sure that you're safe to go inside the asylum. We'll introduce you to your father. Head is directly, so it's okay. And so, Hartleach takes a probe. He says, we'll start with something simple. And he looks inside her ear. He's twisting it around in her head. And Nurse Mabel, she says, breathe in, breathe out. Nurse Mabel's got her ear to the back of Joan. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, you can button up your shirt now. And she pulls up her shirt. Hartley's still staring in her ear. Nurse Mabel says, easy. Looks inside there. Oh, yeah. That's when I've had enough. You're going to feel a slight puff of air, she says, and I'm thinking, great. I just bet they're going to turn her eardrum into some kind of remote receiver, and Head will hear everything that passes between Trickler and Joan as they meet. I just bet that's what he's up to. And I hear a sounds like a rat trap, and Joan gets up, and that's when I make my move. I run through there and I act like a man, just the way I figured Grace would probably. I run in, grab the little projected fork, and I'm freaking out, Don takes a crowbar, tries to swing out. I've seen his violence, and I'm going to report it. I write a report on it. He swings a crowbar, and I jump right through the window, and I run as fast as I can, and I created a great decoy, and she ran, and we ran hand in hand in the woods, and we had some problems in there, because I think it got so wet in the woods that some of the support ceilings down in her ground tunnel started lobbing. She fell in halfway up to her chest, and the black rotting membrane of the water was pouring down, and I had an auto body there nearby. I grabbed a whole rusty auto body. I pulled her back out like a baby being born. We ran on us away. Fear bonds us. Yeah, sadomasochistic bonds, sometimes they bonds us. And we ran through the woods, and we made it up to the asylum. And I walked her through the halls. I put on the red stocking cap on her. And I put on the straitjacket on her. Joan, this is for your good, your own good. We're going to take you. You're going to meet your father. You're going to finally deal with all your fears, and all the secrets are going to come out. And all of us are going to be healed, Joan. And I don't have to admit, I put that straitjacket pretty tight on her. You know, I had to look real. And Brace Boy, we left him back on the fence. And so the rain was still coming down a little bit. You know, drastic measures are called for in drastic times. And so I'm wheeling her through the hall towards the elevator. I went up the handicap ramp. I'm covered with mud, and she's covered with mud. And the patients are kind of coming out of the closets now. They're coming out of these back halls and stuff, and bowling towards us. Hey, what's wrong with you? I haven't seen Bryce going for. Just went for a little while. He tried to snatch a bite of my hand. I fell in the mud out there. No big deal. We're just trying to get him in here, you know, inside and where he's safe. And I can see back down the one long hallway. I could have sworn I saw some guy. He had white overalls on, a huge brow, a weird-looking kind of guy. And he's sitting there with two jumper cables, and he's putting them on his tongue. And the whole building lit up. The lights were okay. I felt a little bit more secure at that point. And I'm walking through the drum and seeing too, because she whimpered a little. Shh, don't make any noise. Out of the back of the wheelchair, I pull a Popeye pad. Writing secrets here. Writing secrets here. It said it right there on the Popeye pad. I didn't have to say a word. It was genius. I had it all planned out. I planned these things from the beginning. I sat there, and she starts screaming. We get into the elevator, and we're riding up. And we get there in the conference room. Big metal door opens up. I wheel in. Here's your token of trust, and you look at us. Look, here she is, Strickler. And all of a sudden, the cover whipped back. And it's Brace Boy, and he snaps like a python. And he's inches, just inches from Joan's beautiful face. And he's strapped in some straps, luckily, or else he would have bit off the whole tire chunk of her face. And I'm seeing it there. What the hell happened to Strickler? What are you guys doing? And all of a sudden, someone over there in the bed sits up the covers, and Darling pulls him off, trying to freak me out a little bit. And he walks over to the intercom, buzzes it, and Nurse Mabel steps out from behind a pillar there and walks over and gets Joan. Wheels her. What are you taking her? What are you taking her? She shuts the door, locks the big metal door on me, trying to lock me in, huh? What's going on here? Nothing, sir. Look, I want to know where Trickler is. Look, they're supposed to be meeting right now. They're supposed to be talking. I want to know where he is. So I'm going to get him out of here. This place is crazy. This place is insane, and I'm going to get him out of here. You're mad. You're mad, Dr. Hazard. I don't want to hear those words. He's gotten into your brain, hasn't he? Yeah, he might have gotten in my brain. What's going on? I want to know whatever happened between you and Joan over the last several days, and I hope to God nothing unethical's gone on. I'm not telling you anything. You'd love to know our secrets, wouldn't you? You could jerk off on her slippery little brain, you sick old man. Look, I'm taking Trickler out here, and that's all there is to it. Joan's going to need some intensive counseling after what you've done. You keep your hands off Joan. She's mine. You keep your hands off her, you understand? Paranoia is contagious, isn't it, Dr. Hazard? Maybe a little. You're fired. Wait a minute, sir. This is all very sobering. But maybe I've gone a little overboard. I probably just need a couple good nights' sleep, sir, and I'll be fine. Look, my patients need me. Like I got hardly. He thinks I'm a god, man. I cured him. Come on, let me stick around a little bit longer. No, I'm afraid you must go. I go to the big mill door. I know they lock me in. Nothing's right up. Trickler. You got into my head, Trickler. You're winning this battle of psychological warfare. Oh. And I go into the elevator, clear out my desk. I'm getting out of here. I'm going running for the planes. I'm never coming back. And I get into the elevator and put my hand over B for basement. No. Floor 3's really intriguing me. Never been up there. That's where Head resides, so they say. Floor 3. I'm staring through the little wire mesh window, trying to anticipate anything that might be on floor 3. I get up there. It's just a real dilapidated hall. You think he'd treat himself to a little more luxury, all the money he pulls in from all these creeps. All right. I'm looking around, empty halls, and I'm hearing people whisper down way at this door at the back of the hall. A few giggles. Okay. I work my way towards that door at the end of the hall. I'm close. I open the door and one little light there hanging down. It's making a pool on a little group of people. All of a sudden, all of them step back away. Oh, look. Nurse Mabel looks up at me. They all step back away, and I see Joan there. They cut a big square out of her head and shaved off all her hair. She has cellophane wrapped round and round and around her head. There's this giant, huge ball of gauze here, still blood on it, and sitting on her lap over her hand. And I'm wondering what the heck's going on. And Darwin looks, and he's down on the ground. He's like washing up pink fluid all over the floor there. And her head rolls backwards. She's got black rings around her eyes. And her old Heinrich is there, and he props her head back up. And makes her stare right at me. And I pull out my letter opener. I've had it handy the whole time. I plan ahead for things like this. And I see, you see! She did it to herself, you see, mister. You drove her to it, plant those crazy ideas in her mind. I didn't plant any ideas in her mind. Now, what are you gonna do? You killed her, you destroyed her. She's not dead, she can't be dead. She's almost dead. And you're gonna be in serious trouble, little man. Look, you all step away, I see the men in black. They're stepping out of the corners of the room. About 10 or 20 of them. Stepping out of the corners of the room, coming near me. You all stay back, and I mean it. You stay back, every one of you. I'll cut you all to pieces. Look, I know how to cure. I've seen it, and I know. It's all here in my subconscious. All the clues and all the hints are here. Now I am going to cure her. Step back. Nurse Mabel looks at me kind of cynically, not knowing what to think. And all of a sudden, they all scoot back a little bit. Heinrich wheels in this tray of these gleaming, beautiful surgical instruments. And Darling walks up and he's holding this black intercom. And then I hear the mechanoid breathing of head from somewhere in the building. I want you to describe everything you're doing, says Nurse Mabel. She gets out a little pad and starts writing things on it. I walk up like I'm giving a little medical lecture. Well, gentlemen, the secret is in her finger. Which finger? Pinky finger? No, this finger. I give mom middle finger. I take the little knife in my hand and I swing it. And I don't know. I think it hit pretty hard on Darling's neck. And they were stunned. I stunned them. It gave me a little psychological leeway here. I pushed the button. Run, Trick, run! I'm out of there as fast as I can. And my white garments here, all these white things out of my pajamas. I put them on, and I got a little blood sprinkled all over me. And I'm running down the hall, and I get the elevator, and it didn't take long. The elevator was right there waiting. I just got off of it. And I hear her clownish kind of painted makeup is melting off her face, and she's clicking down the hall. Nurse Mabel's coming, her whole entourage, all the men in black. They don't scare me. They don't scare me. They're coming closer and closer. You're insane. You've gone mad. No, I haven't gone mad. Prepare a shout for me. No, you all stay back away from me. And they're coming pretty close now, and so I do it. I stick my pinky right here. Stop, she says. You really are insane. You really are mad. Stop before he mangles himself. This poor sick boy. Oh, son, don't do it. You don't stay away. The elevator door opens up. There's two men in black in their way. Get out here! Get out! Get out! She says, can't you see he's insane? Get out of here. She's trying to act like they're not there. Like I'm not seeing them. Come on. And so they get out. I get in there in the elevator. I put my finger over B, put my pinky over 1. B1 with me. And the cops turn, and I'm rolling down. I'm seeing through the little wire mesh window there in the elevator. I can see them all in there. And there's Neil's got syringe, squirt and stuff. They can't get in. One of them down there on the second floor is trying to peel open the door. Brace was banging his head up against it. The third person's right down there inside there. I'm down on the first floor now, and they're all just there trying to get in. They can't. And I'm down in the basement, so I'm running through the tunnels, and it's liberating. It's amazing. The roots are growing through the tunnels. The water I'm sloshing through, it's just raining in through the ceilings. And I'm running, and I open up the huge locked door, and I step into the effigy chamber. I'm in there, and I run across the catwalk. I'm so glad.
almost free. And I open up the last water-sealed door. I can't help but look back over my shoulder in the effigy chamber, wondering what it's all about.
The effigy,
I'm hearing Trickler's voice.
it's a part of you. It's a part of everyone that falls into the effigy chamber. He's down there. Oh, he'll rise, and he'll come.
And I open up the water lock, and I go into the examination room there, where I got my lobotomy on, thank goodness. Thank goodness I got it. And I go in there, and Trickler is strapped. He's strapped right there, face down on this table, half naked. You made it! You made it! Come on, we're gonna get out of here, we're gonna run, we're gonna get out of here, we're gonna go to the cornfields. We can run forever, we can hide forever in there. They'll never find us, Trickler. Come on,
Get me out of here. He's close, he's near. What? He's close.
Okay, work fast. Let's go to the second drawer down. Seeing the clock on the wall. Time's ticking away. And I open up the second door. And all the surgical instruments are there. Head's intercom device is there. He's near.
Open it up. And under the second lever, there's a lever, and he's where?
And the surgical instruments are all over the floor behind me.
Where? Fill up under there. Calm down, boy. Calm down.
The middle bands open up. I slide him off and plumps to the ground. I know you can walk. Come on, we've been through all sorts of fancies together. Now let's get through the heating vent. I'm going over the pile of the heating vent. He won't come.
I'm going to save Joan. I saved my wife before. I know I can save Joan too.
I know they cut her all to pieces. You can't go back there. It's absurd. It's crazy. You can't go back there. They'll chop you to pieces. Let's just get out. Come on. I'm going to carry you if I have to. Sir, I'm going to have to carry you. Come on. I believe everything you said is true, and I do not believe that you molest your daughter, because I've seen it with my own eyes now. I've seen it. Come on. And I'm over there working in the heating vent.
Ain't no good. I gotta have that secret, boy.
And I go over and try and pull him over, and he grabs him by his shoulders.
Come on, boy. Be peace. One last chance. I want to know, what is the cure? What has she seen? What has she told you?
Know anything? I don't know anything, Trickler. It's all been a big lie. I don't know anything. Look, I want to help you. I've always only wanted to help you. I can't. We gotta get out of here. Come on. I break free of this grip, trying to hypnotize me. I'm hooking up the heating vent.
You'll never get out up there. It's a perfect maze.
I need you to come with me.
Can't be done.
He stands up behind me. Ceremoniously, he loops the intercom device over his neck, pulls out something in a little hole in his throat. This little square voice box kind of thing. It pumps there. He steps on it.
Be one with me.
I'm scared away on the wall, and my hand goes right on one of the scalpels, and I get an idea. Blood's all over my hand. I get an idea. And I'm walking away. He says, "Give me that cure. I'm gonna cut your head all to pieces, boy. I'm not gonna tell you anything. You're all crazy and insane. I'm gonna get out of here. You're never gonna go anywhere. You're never gonna get out of here." I go on, and I'm backing around the catwalk, and I'm out over Refugee Lake now. And I'm scared of him. I'm scared of him. And he comes near me, and he's coming closer and closer.
We'll give you clean bed pans every now and then. If you'll just tell me the secret, I'll open up your file periodically and let you see the changes I made in the world.
You get away from me. I got the lid opener. I'm gonna cut you all to pieces, Trickler.
What are you gonna do with that little thing?
I don't know, but just stay back away from me. People are trying to drive me crazy. I gotta get out of here.
Joan cut the cure out of me. I know she saw things. You must tell me what she saw.
No, the truth is, you are the pervert here. You're the sicko, and you molested your daughter. It's all the truth. That's what the truth is. And he's walking. He's still coming near me. I put my pinky in my mouth.
Oh, go ahead, son. You don't have the willpower of a Trickler. You don't have the willpower of a Joan Trickler. Go ahead, come on.
I got a pinky in my mouth. It's warm. And blood spills all down my chin. I just wait for my brain to burn.
I guess it didn't work.
Oh, it hurts, doesn't it? It hurts. He puts a suggestion in my mind.
right then he says, "Get him, get him!" And I look over just in time to see two men in black coming at me. And Nurse Mabel and all those two chickens, they're pressing up against the wall. They're terrified of the effigy chamber. And so when the lights flickered just right, I dive into Effigy Lake, where the water churns and the hair and the foam and the meat turn to the surface and bump up against me like huge fish on my feet. And I can feel the flesh and the foam. I don't know what this liquid is. It's sticky. It's lubricant. I don't know what it is. And I'm working my way through it, swimming towards the shallows. And my leg is hurting awful bad. And I know I still got my beak in my mouth. I can't even breathe. I spit it out. I see it half digested there. And I get up on the bank. And I hear them up there. Oh, no, it's too late now. It's too late. Here it comes. Here it comes. Well, I hear what comes. And I'm getting up there in the shells. And I'm way back in the shells. And I can see the shadows. And I'm stuck here. Get it out of here. And I see it in water boiling. There's something boiling over there. And I've seen it rise now. The effigy. Someone up in the insane asylum invented it. The effigy. Robotics designed by Gasser up there. Somebody up there in the insane asylum. He's coming for you. I'm hearing Trigger's voice. It's rolling towards me. It's just a goofy, like an old 50s contraption with this giant kind of metallic, conveyor belt. And it has this huge arm, beam-like, that goes out before. And the whole thing is covered with this kind of wax and slime, flesh, coats and layers of flesh. And it rolls out. Instead of a finger pointing, there's a needle. And it's pointing right at me. And it's rolling up. And as it sees that I'm low, it puts its arm down and it counterbalances. Leans back. And it rolls towards me. And it's got this little mossy hair streaking off of it. And it's coming near me. And I hear Trigger's voice in my ear now. The effigy. The effigy. It's you. You are the effigy. You are me. You see, you cured me. I guess you cured me after all. You forced me to confront the dirty truth and my dirty secrets. And in doing so, I have no need for a doctor anymore. I'm healed. The effigy's here to meet him. He's here to put you back in my head where you belong, boy. You see, you're just one of my multiple personalities, that's all. I'm sorry to let you know. It's time to appropriate you. Goodbye, and I scream. The needle rides towards me, and there's no reason to wait anymore. There's no reason to wait anymore. I've been fighting it too long. I feel the needle hard. My skull is up against the back cement wall. I hear its motor straining. Someone's screaming. And I realize it's me. The needle goes into my head. And I feel them crawling all out of my body. My mouth, my nose, my eyes, black water buzz just crawling out of my body. That's what it felt like, and a peace washed over me like none I'd ever felt. And I kept hearing the screaming. They woke me up periodically, changed my bedpans. They brought in a new intern. Took this new young bright-eyed kid on a little tour of the commons room where everyone was resting and sleeping and choking and gurgling. Nurse Mabel introduces me. And that's Dr. Hazard. Oh, Dr. Hazard, he fancied himself a doctor and almost cured himself. Kind of sad, though. And that's Joan. That's Mr. Darling over there with the tube stuck in his neck, pumping in air. Yeah. You can give them a change of medication periodically, or you might want to try something a little more experimental like hypnosis, but generally these people are pretty much harmless, lobotomized. I fall asleep, and in the nights, sometimes my mind travels into the deep freeze. I see tunnels full of jars. Tunnels full of the screamers. I'm seeing the meter whirling at the back of Joan's house in my mind. And I sit there and stare out of the asylum window over the courtyard and over the woods. And then one night, it's like a dream to me. Gasser went over to Joan. I saw her. and I felt like screaming, but I couldn't. He went over to Joan, tenderly opened her mouth, pulled up her tongue, and slid out a little chunk of gray matter with nerves dangling. And underneath her wheelchair, he pulled out the Popeye pad. And he studied it a moment. Go, Gasser, go. You're my last hope. I want a little autonomy here. Gasser started buzzing the buzzer. Race boy turned and bit on like a horse bit on his head post, and his teeth popped and shattered, and like the tar strings, his braces kind of flew off on the ground, hands sticking him up. Oh, and it was a beautiful sight because old Hart Leach's face made freaked out. He yanked it right out of his chest. That was beautiful. And then I'm also noticing Rubberneck pulls off his hair, busts it right off, blood. His head falls like a bowling ball on a skin string, thumps his chest, he's gone. No door open. Head doc walked in, picked up the Popeye pad, everyone's scrambling for the beds. What's going on here? Who keeps buzzing that buzzer? It's genius, it's beautiful. The cure. Nurse Mabel! He sees me. I've got the halo here, I've got the little pacemaker here, and I've got all the wires from Darley's mouth. I planned it all from the beginning, and they're there, and the spark goes, and the smoke rises. Smoke rises. He sees me, and the patients converge. They pull out his false teeth, yank off his goofy wig he's wearing. I wear it, and I escape, and I'm free. I resurrected myself, I cured myself, and that's how it's done. And I had a tricklish brain piece right here, and I was happy. And sometimes I'm sleeping in the fields at night. I've been running in the cornfields for years now. Sometimes I have a dream. You ain't gone nowhere, boy. You're right here. Don't fool yourself. I'm just dreaming of you. And I wake up. And I run down the back country roads. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Hey.